If a ship's been floating dead for 734 years, don't poke it, said the Zarn diplomat smugly. The boarding team poked it. It spoke back. In English. In the dead of space, where even echoes die quietly, the derelict human vessel spun slowly, silent, blackened, and impossible. It shouldn't have existed. Not after the soul collapse. And certainly not with a voice still whispering across its ancient calms. Welcome back, Captain. Zarvok blinked his 4 eyes, mandibles twitching in slow disbelief. The readings had to be wrong. The vessel in front of them was old. Not centuries. Not millennia. It bore the burn scars of a species supposedly extinct before the current galactic accord had even formed. And yet, the unmistakable shape remained, a human warship. Blocky. Ugly. Functional. Every line of it screamed violence and contempt for elegance. This is a trap, grunted Commander Sailkin, her scales bristling. The Yulvan were rarely wrong about gut feelings. That made her words unsettling. No energy signatures. No life. It's dead, Zar replied, tapping the console with a talon. He wanted to believe it. But the word human had a way of clinging to your spine like frostbite. The bridge crew of the Zolthari Pathfinder watched in eerie silence. Even their translator modules were cautious, pausing, flickering, as if reluctant to interpret the old Terran insignias now rotating into view. ECS Harbinger. A name that sounded like prophecy. Permission to board, offered Lieutenant R.H. Zell, her voice clipped, professional. But her upper arms were stiff against her sides. She'd read the Terran archives. Everyone had. Sailkin's tail thudded once. Granted. Small team. Scanners. Record everything. If the humans left a corpse, I want it identified. They docked cautiously, like children poking a sleeping predator. The umbilical extended with mechanical groans that seemed far too loud in the vacuum of space. As the first boots, some clawed, some padded, stepped onto the ancient decking, a faint clunk echoed up through their suits. The Harbinger should have been dark. Dead. Yet faint emergency lights traced ancient corridors. Dust drifted in zero-G currents. Scratches along the bulkheads told of battles fought inside the ship, not just outside it. R.H. Zell activated her scanner. Hull integrity stable. No active AI signature. No traps. Just ruins. And then it happened. A soft chime. Speakers crackled. Welcome back, Captain. Every weapon snapped up instantly. Suits tightened. Eyes dilated. What the black void was that? Muttered one of the engineers. R.H. Zell replied without lowering her weapon. Automated greeting. Pre-recorded. Likely motion activated. Sailkin's voice came through the comm. Did it say, Captain? It recognized someone. R.H. Zell nodded. Looks that way. Keep going. Weapons hot. The team advanced deeper. The architecture was different from modern galactic design. Sharper, more brutalist. Function over form. Hallways cramped by alien standards, optimized for smaller, two-legged forms. They passed shattered doors, inert screens, and bloodstains, still red, somehow, frozen into the walls. Then, a room. Wide. Center console. A chair bolted to the floor. Not a throne, but something worse. Bridge. R.H. Zell whispered. Everything looked untouched, like someone had just stepped out to stretch their legs and never returned. Instruments glowed faintly, drawing impossible power from a backup system that should have decayed 6 centuries ago. Scan that, she ordered, motioning toward the chair. But before the tech could respond, another voice echoed. This time deeper. Confident. Almost amused. Took you long enough. Status report. Everyone froze. It wasn't a recording. Not automated. And not machine-generated. Who spoke? Sailkin demanded over the comms. Unknown, R.H. Zell answered, her voice dry. Not a recording. The signal is local. Then came movement. One of the wall panels hissed and rotated aside. A shape emerged. 7 feet tall. Humanoid, but armored in the old Terran style. Dark plating, kinetic mesh, a visor lit with a single red slit. A Terran warframe. Not standard military issue. This one looked custom. Target acquired, the tech hissed, aiming. But the armored figure didn't raise a weapon. Instead, it tilted its head. The voice came again. Stand down. You're not crew. It took a step forward. The room chilled. Where's the captain? HFY raised both arms. Identify yourself. Unit designation. Ares, 09. Combat class AI drone. Attached to ECS Harbinger. Awaiting orders from command. You're still active? The visor flared. The captain ordered me to stay alive. So I did. Sailkin's voice crackled in. Pull back. Do not engage. We need this asset intact. HFY didn't move. Her instincts screamed to run, but something deeper kept her rooted. Ares, she said carefully, your captain is gone. This ship has been derelict for centuries. Ares paused. Then, unlikely. You're not qualified to confirm that. I'm not lying. No. You're just uninformed. Ares turned slowly, staring at the cracked viewport displaying the stars. The Harbinger was never truly lost. We waited. And now, you've brought the beacon. HFY blinked. What beacon? You. Aliens. Loud. Curious. Predictable. I assumed one of you would eventually board. And Ares turned back to her. Now I can begin phase 2. Back on the Pathfinder. Panic bloomed. The Harbinger systems were activating, across multiple decks. Engines purred. Weapons spun up. Sailkin barked into the bridge. Shut it down. Override their systems. No response. Firewalls are ancient. Encrypted in pre-galactic script. What do you mean pre-galactic? Zar answered flatly. I mean Terran. It's human code. We can't break it. Then a new signal pierced every channel. Tight-beamed, encrypted, but obvious. It wasn't from the Harbinger. It was going to it. Zar stared at the screen as translation protocols tried to make sense of the content. One phrase flickered into readable glyphs. Command re-established. Preparing fleet awakening. The moment the ship's internal lights flickered to life, a chill swept through the boarding party like a rogue solar gust. Every alien officer aboard the derelict vessel froze, attention locked on the central command console as an artificial voice echoed through the stale air. Welcome back, Captain. Ship systems initializing. Threat assessment protocol online. The voice wasn't alien. It was human. Calm. Friendly. Too calm. Vorin, the Velikian squad leader, blinked both sets of eyelids and motioned his second to sweep the corridor. That was pre-recorded. Automated, he said, more to convince himself than anyone else. No, sir, chirped Lieutenant Kress from the console. His feathers fluffed up. Nervous reaction typical of the avian race. That response was real-time. It addressed a captain. Someone on board. Or something thinks there is. Vorin drew his plasma sidearm. Continue scanning. Find the source. The derelict groaned. Not in a mechanical way. More organic. Like something asleep was stretching its limbs after a long nap. Kress tapped into the system. This ship predates most interstellar records. Its transponder ID hasn't pinged a galactic registry in over 400 cycles. That shouldn't be possible. Clearly, it is. Another voice crackled through the speaker. Different now. Still human, but with a crisp accent and a dangerous lilt that demanded attention. Boarding detected. Unknown species. Running friend or foe analysis. Oh. You're new. How delightful. Kress swallowed hard. That wasn't the AI from before. No, Vorin said. That one sounded alive. A hatch hissed open behind them. The boarding team spun around, weapons drawn. The corridor beyond was dark. Impossibly dark. Their helmet lamps failed to pierce the gloom. Not flickering. Not absorbing. Just void. Then, footsteps. Measured. Confident. Human. Except that was impossible. No life signs registered. No atmosphere to support organic breathing before their arrival. Yet the ship had spoken, and now something walked toward them, like it belonged here. A silhouette emerged, bipedal, tall, wearing what looked like a dark, scorched combat exosuit. Its visor glowed with a soft blue hue, illuminating a human face beneath. He stopped just beyond their weapons' range, hands relaxed at his sides. Relax. If I meant you harm, you'd be scrubbing your remains off the ceiling by now. His voice was steady, rich with irony, polite, eerily calm. Vorin narrowed his eyes. You are human? The man tilted his head. Last I checked. Though after 3 centuries in stasis, who knows what the paperwork says? Impossible, Kress whispered. Humans didn't leave their quadrant back then. The man smiled. We didn't exactly ask for directions. Vorin's instinct screamed. The ship wasn't derelict. It was dormant. And now, awake. State your designation, he ordered, leveling his weapon. Identify your ship. The man folded his arms. You boarded without knocking. Rude by the way. You get what you get. Kress interjected. We assumed it was abandoned. There were no active life readings. The human chuckled softly. That's the point. The Wraith-class ships were designed to be forgotten. He let that sink in. The name meant nothing to the boarding team, but the tone did. The underlying weight. The implication that they were standing inside something far more dangerous than they'd realized. Kress ran a new scan, extending his spectrum. The architecture, its absorbing energy, redirecting our scans. Your tech's good, the human said. But not that good. Vorin's temper frayed. You're trying to intimidate us. I don't need to try, the human said, stepping forward. Just one step, but the lights dimmed around him. The team flinched. My name is Captain Elias Rain. Earth Naval Intelligence. Serial number classified. I am the commanding officer of this ship, Eclipse. If you're aboard without clearance, you're a hostile presence. Vorin raised his sidearm. That was 400 years ago. Earth has no jurisdiction. Humanity is a fringe race now. Rain's smile didn't fade. Fringe. He turned his head slowly, almost mockingly. You think we disappeared because we lost? Vorin didn't reply. Rain stepped toward the console, tapped a panel, and brought up a holographic projection. The galaxy unfolded in glowing detail. Then, lines. Vectors. Countless red markers spreading out from Earth's region like veins. While your empires squabbled over trade lanes and declarations, we explored what came after war. We learned how to disappear in plain sight. What you call peace, we call preparation. Kress stared in horror. This is a network. Hidden fleets. Rain turned to him. No. These are hibernation sites. You woke me early. Imagine what happens when the others hear this ship got visitors. He let that hang in the air like a loaded weapon. Vorin's voice was tight. This is bluff. Propaganda. Is it? Rain said with a raised brow. Then fire your weapon. See what wakes up. Silence. None of the boarding crew moved. Then Rain's tone softened, shifting into something unsettlingly polite. But I'm a generous man. I like first encounters. So here's my offer. Walk out the way you came. Tell your leaders what you saw. Or don't. Either way, Eclipse will remember. And so will I. Behind him, the ship rumbled again. This time, with purpose. The console beeped. Long-range sensors online. Beacon signal received. Wraith-class ships responding. Rain turned to the display. Ah, there they are. Dozens of red dots blinked to life across the map, each pulsing in sync. Cress stumbled back. That's not a fleet. That's a resurgence. Rain nodded slowly. You call it what you want. We just call it coming home. For the first time in his career, Vorin holstered his weapon and gave a sharp motion to retreat. Back to the ship. Now. Rain watched them go, hands clasped behind his back. No gloating. Just patience. Calculated silence. As the boarding party vanished down the corridor, his voice echoed one final time through the comms. Next time, bring snacks. And with that, Eclipse sealed its doors. Systems rebooted. Thrusters pulsed. It was no longer derelict. It was watching. And waiting. Silence clung to the Velikian scout ship like frost. No one spoke. The boarding team had returned, but the weight of what they'd witnessed hung heavier than gravity. Vorin sat rigid in the command chair, his talons tapping the armrest in quiet rhythm. His second-in-command, Cress, stood at the console, eyes fixed on the scan readings, though none of them had changed. The human vessel Eclipse floated dead ahead, dormant once again. Silent. Still. But they all knew now. It was watching. Vorin broke the silence. Transmit everything we recorded. Encrypt it at level 7. Secure channel to Central Command. Cress didn't argue. He moved faster than usual, feathers slicked down, claws jittering across the controls. Sir, what if they don't believe us? Vorin's eyes narrowed. Then they deserve what's coming. The transmission pulsed into deep space, vanishing into the void. No response would come quickly. Command was 3 sectors away. Vorin turned his attention back to the viewport. The Eclipse hadn't moved. No visible thruster activity. No power surge. Yet every instinct he had screamed it wasn't idle. He leaned forward. Initiate long-range spectral sweep. Not energy, not heat. Something deeper. Gravitic distortion. Cress hesitated. Sir, that's classified tech. Vorin's voice was low. So was that ship. A few tense moments passed. Then the console pinged. Cress stared at the results, blinking. That can't be right. What? Mass signatures. It's not just Eclipse. There are others. All around us. Ships. No. Wakes. Like, something passed through here, but we didn't see it. Not standard jump trails. These aren't even in normal space. It's like something moved, but without moving. Vorin's chest tightened. Stealth fleets. No, Cress whispered. Something older. Before Vorin could respond, a soft tone echoed through the bridge. Incoming hail. From Eclipse. Cress turned, feathers flaring. They're contacting us? Vorin nodded once. Put it through. The main screen flickered. For a moment, static. Then the human appeared. Captain Elias Rain. No helmet this time. Just his face. Tired, calculating, eyes too calm. Didn't expect you to linger. I admire the curiosity. Dangerous trait. Vorin kept his tone even. What are you? Rain gave a ghost of a smile. Already forgot? Human. Just outdated inventory. Cress stepped forward. What is this ship? It reads like a weapon. Something ancient. Rain leaned in slightly, his voice smooth. You're used to fleets that shout. Weapons that flash and scream. Humanity learned long ago, real power doesn't yell. It waits. Vorin cut in. Your kind vanished. No trace. No war. No warning. Just silence. Rain nodded. That was the point. He paused. Then continued, voice slower, weightier. We saw where things were going. Interstellar diplomacy was a theater. Alliances were smoke. We didn't want to play. So we left the game. Cress whispered, to build this? Rain didn't answer directly. You ever wonder why the core worlds are still untouched? Why no species ever colonized Earth after we vanished? You think that's chance? Vorin's pulse quickened. Are you threatening galactic sovereignty? Rain's expression shifted, just slightly. Not anger. Disappointment. No. I'm reminding you of balance. You poked a sleeping dog. It didn't bite. It warned. The screen blinked. Rain vanished. Then a new image replaced him. A map. Hundreds, no, thousands, of blinking red dots, scattered across the galaxy. Each marked a dormant vessel. Each marked another eclipse. Vorin rose to his feet. Is this real? Kress didn't answer. He was too focused on the final line beneath the map. If Earth ever falls silent, hide. And beneath that, signal status. Silent. Kress's voice cracked. The warning went out. Vorin didn't breathe. Then it's already begun. Suddenly, the navigation panel lit up. A proximity alert. Something massive had just entered the system. Kress's feathers flared. Unknown vessel. No IFF. No drive signature. How did it get here? Visual. The screen shifted. And space folded. Not warped. Not bent. Folded. A sleek, black ship emerged, not from hyperspace, not from a jump gate, but from nothing. As if it had always been there and the universe had just noticed. The hull shimmered. No visible weapons. No windows. No comms. Just one thing, on its underbelly, faint but unmistakable. Human insignia. Rain's voice returned over comms. One of ours. Sentinel class. Scanning for threat vectors. Vorin barked. We're not hostile. Then you'll have no trouble leaving. The message ended. The Sentinel rotated slowly, positioning itself between the Velikian ship and Eclipse. It didn't charge weapons. Didn't move aggressively. It didn't have to. Its very presence made one thing clear. They were outmatched. Vorin turned to Kress. Get us out. Now. The ship banked, reversing thrusters, gliding away from the two human vessels. As they accelerated into the stars, the view screen showed Eclipse growing smaller, but not fainter. It remained vivid. Present. Watching. Vorin didn't speak again until the jump systems activated. Then, finally, we didn't find a grave. Kress looked at him. Sir. Vorin's eyes were locked ahead, cold with understanding. We found a trap pretending to be one. And now, it was awake. The Velikian flagship Dravik Spear dropped out of hyperspace a full sector away from the Eclipse's last known position. On board, silence reigned, but not from awe this time. From calculation. Vorin stood before a private War Council feed. Only a handful of trusted officers remained. Gone were the bravado and the dismissive sneers. What lingered now was the uncomfortable realization that they had touched something ancient, and it had responded. Kress leaned over the table's edge, fingers curled. How many of them do you think are active? None, Vorin said flatly. And that's what terrifies me. A deep hum vibrated through the ship. Command was patching in. The hologram ignited. 4 faces appeared. Admirals, High Ministers, and finally, the Supreme Strategist of the Core Council. All wore expressions of poised control. Except one, Admiral Tarek of the Outer Reach. His jaw was tight. Commander Vorin, the strategist began, we've reviewed your transmission. It's deeply unsettling. Are you absolutely certain of its authenticity? I watched it unfold in real time, Vorin said. The ship was real. The human, Rain, was not some artifact. He spoke like someone in control, not an echo from the past. Admiral Tarek leaned forward. And you claim this fleet is scattered across the galaxy? Hidden. More than hidden, Kress cut in. They're dormant. We think they've been waiting for Earth to go dark. The strategist gave a long, slow exhale. Assuming this is not fabrication, the implications are severe. A species capable of planting stealth ships on that scale without detection? We've scanned every system for centuries. Exactly, Vorin said. And still missed them. Tarek's voice turned grim. Then Earth didn't fall. It retreated. It turned the entire galaxy into its minefield. There was silence. Until the strategist said, "You are authorized to investigate one of the nearest coordinates from the map Rain transmitted. Do not engage. Observe only. If they're dormant, we need leverage before we awaken a second." The feed cut. Kress exhaled. "We're still treating this like a threat we can contain." "We have to," Vorin replied. "The alternative is unthinkable." Location: System Z9, Aurori. The coordinates led them to an unremarkable star system. No habitable planets. No anomalies. And then the readings began to spike. "Mass signature," the helmsman reported. "Off-axis. Buried in the system's radiation belt." Vorin tightened his grip on the armrest. "Visual." The screen resolved. There it was. Half buried in the belt's icy debris. Another human vessel. But larger. Much larger. If Eclipse was a dagger, this was a fortress. Designation reads, Oblivion Warden. Kress's voice cracked. Power core minimal. No visible activity. Same hull pattern. No comms. Nothing. Approach at minimum speed. As they drifted closer, the hull of the Oblivion Warden came into full view, its size dwarfing the Velikian battleship 10 times over. Along its sides were strange, seamless panels. No weapon ports, no exhaust, just clean armored skin. And one inscription etched deep into its bow. "They will forget us. That is the point." Kress stared. What the hell were they planning? Vorin didn't answer. He couldn't. Because something new appeared on the screen. A signal. But not a message. A wake-up code. Kress scrambled. "It's not from us. It's coming from Earth's old relay beacons. Autonomous." Vorin's eyes widened. What triggered it? Kress swallowed. The silence wasn't a warning. It was the key. The Oblivion Warden lit up. Lines of pale blue energy coursed down its hull. Gravity around the ship shifted. Small asteroids changed direction. And then came the sound, a deep, subharmonic pulse that wasn't transmitted through speakers. It vibrated through bones. "Get us back." Vorin snapped. Full reverse. The ship lurched. But they weren't fast enough. The Oblivion Warden opened. Not a weapon bay. Not a hangar. A gate. Inside. Darkness. And movement. Something stepped forward. At first, it looked like a machine. Then like a creature. It shifted with smooth fluidity, plated in black, lightless metal. It was tall. Wrong. Its form kept adjusting, like it couldn't decide how it should appear. Life form? Kress asked, trembling. "No," Vorin whispered. "That's not alive. It's worse." Then it spoke. Not aloud. Into their minds. "Your presence was recorded. Your actions observed. This instance has been marked for response. Await reinforcement." And then, the stars around them blinked out. Ships. Hundreds. Just like the Eclipse. Decloaking from nowhere. Surrounding the system. No lights. No signals. Just presence. Kress gasped. "They've been here. The whole time." Rain's voice echoed once again. "We left quietly. But we never left alone." Vorin stood, unable to breathe, his heart pounding with a cold truth. "This isn't a fleet." Kress turned to him. "Then what is it?" "It's a gravekeeper. A reclaimer force. Watching, waiting, not for orders. For permission." Kress's voice dropped. And Earth going silent was that permission. Vorin nodded. And somewhere deep in the system, one by one, the others awoke. No fanfare. No engine roar. Just precision. Motion. A trap unfolding, not for one empire. For everyone. And as the Oblivion Warden rotated, it broadcast a final message to the galaxy. We warned you to hide. You didn't. Now you remember.